as we approach the midterm elections here, I mean, probably by the time you see this video, the midterms will already have happened. So this is old news. But the Republican committee sues Google over email spam filters, accusing the tech giant of suppressing its email solicitations ahead of these presumably just happened maybe 2 days ago midterm elections. Don't tell us how it came out. We don't need the spoilers. And I have really mixed feelings about this story because on one hand, I think political emails are completely out of hand. On the other hand, I think it's, I don't know, I'm going to say ridiculous to think you're being targeted, but everybody thinks they're the victim. So Peter and I are going to talk about it on today's Not So Critical Update.
Not so political update,
Not
Mike.
so
I see you're
political update.
sneaking the stories in more and more.
I
I
said
love this
yesterday,
story. I
that's
think
my
it's
goal.
brilliant. Yeah, yeah, I know. And you're doing that horrible thing of like just being completely straight up about your plan and your implementation, and you're winning anyway. I don't like it.
Yeah, when you're
Um,
when you're the one that produces the show, it's easy to push your agenda.
yeah.
Oh, guys, I don't know what happened. We got to do this story today. Oh well.
Oh my God, how did that get into the lineup? Oh wow. Okay, so Republicans. Wow, gosh. I I I do like the story, right? So here's how I read it, right? And incidentally, I've got a sort of follow on about this. So what's happening is that Republicans are suing Google because they think that Google's spam filters are skewing, like are blocking more of their emails than Democratic political emails.
Yeah. Or
So out of
because they're Republicans.
yes, because it's a politically biased spam filter,
Yes,
not
yes, yes.
because their not because their emails are more like spam than anyone else, but
Well,
that
so
they're
that's the interesting part of this. So keep going. I'll come back to that.
well, that's what I really hope and expect to come out of this. If it goes to court and there's a like actual investigation done, which I don't think it will, I think what will be revealed is that Republican political emails are way more like spam than anyone else, and people don't want them.
All right. I hope Mikey is watching because this is the only time this is going to ever happen. It's possible that the Republicans are right about this. So I have two things. Well, so one possibility is it's just completely made up and statistically they're blocked no more than any other emails and the algorithms are working perfectly. And they just have this prosecution complex that everyone's out to get them. And that's what this claim is based on. That's one possibility.
No, they are getting blocked more. They're getting blocked more for sure.
Disproportionately than other senders, specifically Democratic emails.
Because their content is worse.
But do we know that they're getting blocked disproportionately more?
I believe there are some statistics which have that. And here's was the thing I said, and I've got a follow-up, is that on other email platforms, there are different biases. And I think it speaks to the type of users of those platforms, not the platforms themselves. Because the way that Gmail's blocking works is it's based on 10 people go, this is spam, and then Google learns that it's spam. So it's not, it doesn't have an inherent bias itself. It's just based on the users.
So that I have a question. So on one hand, I would say, okay, so another piece of this is I have given money to Democratic candidates. I've given money to maybe 2 or 3 Democratic candidates, in exchange for which I have received a deluge of donation requests from every fucking Democrat on the goddamn planet, and it makes me insane. I don't want emails from and it actually pissed me off to the point that I unsubscribed from the list of the people that I gave money to and will now not give them money because I don't want to volunteer myself to be asked for money by everyone else in the country. So, in terms of political spam email, it is a huge problem to the point that I've tried to track down. Like, what I don't understand is if I say unsubscribe me to your email, how is it fine that I just get the same email from another candidate? They're all using the same platform to send these things. I
Yeah,
unsubscribed.
that's
I didn't
bad.
unsubscribe from this person. I unsubscribed from the platform. Whatever, makes me insane. To what you just said about it's based on how people train the algorithm to identify things as spam. Maybe I should report these as spam more than just deleting them to help teach it that Democrats are sending just as
Yeah.
much spam as Republicans. I do think, though, we've seen over and over again how AI bias reflects the bias of the programmers who created it. Tech developers are on average more progressive than conservative. I guess I might not be terribly surprised if we found out there was, some liberal bias to the
Okay.
algorithms.
I agree. I think you might be right that it's a possibility, but I don't think it is. And I hope that what's revealed is that so yes, I completely agree. And I well, not completely agree. I haven't seen a lot of democratic spam. I don't get it myself. But it's horrible and it's awful. And you probably should hit spam rather than unsubscribe. But I would argue, given my knowledge of the Republicans, that the Republican stuff is even worse. I know I've seen examples of some of the stuff that Trump voters get. It's really aggressive and it's really pushy. It's like we gave you 10 chances to give money and you just wouldn't. You are not a Trump. You do not want my America to be great at all. You suck unless you give $10 now to
Damn.
Trump's
I didn't
re-election
say it,
campaign kind of
Mikey.
thing.
Peter said it.
It's just stuff I've seen. I'm
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
parroting shit I've heard about. I haven't
But
really seen that many examples of democratic stuff, so maybe it's
so then
just as
this
bad.
goes to the content of the email, right? There was a bunch of outrage about when Google was going to put ads into the Gmail interface, and everybody said, "Well, they're going to target me based on the content of my emails, which means they're reading every email." And I think what you're saying is that the flagging of emails as spam has not to do with the content of the email, but the behavior of the other users who have received that email. And this, what
Yeah,
they're asserting essentially is that because of the content of our email, Google is flagging it disproportionately. Where
right.
you and I maybe have an open question of, are they actually evaluating the content of the email, or are they just looking, at the behavior of the users who receive the email and the sending patterns of the sender, frequency, the domain it's being sent from, the servers that are being used, these kinds of things.
Well, yeah, it's a blurry line because the content has to do with the readers, right? The readers are deciding their actions based on the content, as well as what they know about the senders, right? So you just said that you don't hit spam for democratic spam, even though you know. So maybe it's just the customer base that's completely different, that's skewed. I think I was reading where like Yahoo has is like Yahoo and Microsoft are the other Yahoo and Outlook were the other two platforms I read, and one of them does have a bias in the opposite direction, but not as strong as Gmail, and one of them is just neutral. I think that's what it was, um, and it kind of I don't know. I don't really know much about the
It's
markets of these
probably tough to
products.
separate the content of the emails targeting a specific group of users from the behaviors of those users when they receive the content. And
What I
this
mean
makes
is like the type of sorry.
uh I think this might be some of the same things we see when we talk about like message amplification or censoring on Facebook. Republicans, conservatives have asserted that Facebook is treating them unfairly. So does it have to do with the content of what they're posting, or does it have to do with the behavior and patterns of how they're posting it?
So the one thing I'm worried about with this with this court case is that Google would be put in a position where they, in the interests of fairness, will have to treat political emails differently and maybe like lower the number of or increase the number of people who mark it as spam for it to be sent to the spam folder, to do something that in the interests of treating them more equitably. Um, the reason I'm worried about it is because they have a rule in the UK, which is that all political parties have to be given a voice on like the BBC. So what we have is that um, uh, the
We used to
one
call that
man
the fairness doctrine in the US, I think.
Yeah, I think that was that. I think yeah, that's something similar. So that means even the crazy one man people get given the same amount of airtime as the huge, big parties. So the racist right wing UKIP style parties with Nigel Farage, who's tweeting "Rule Britannia," gets the same amount of validity. Gets given, treated as if it's equally valid as someone else, which is bullshit because it's clearly not. I suppose the theory is that if you give an idiot airtime, then they'll just show themselves up to be an idiot. But that sort of disregards how marketing can be factored in. And you could be a good marketer but talk absolute rubbish, and in fact dangerous. You can have a dangerous message but market it well. But yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm probably getting
I
a bit
mean,
off track here. But
well, this is the I don't know if it's a catch 22, but like this is the problem with journalism and reporting, right? Journalism is supposed to tell you what the truth is, but to Nigel Farage, that's just as true as what you said, as you saying it's not true.
oh,
So are journalists supposed to just say, well, this guy said the sky is blue, this guy said the sky is green. We don't know. Like, yes, it's true that that's what they said, but what color is the sky? Like, we can actually
yeah,
answer that
right,
question, except
right.
the guy who said the sky is green will say, well, no, now you're lying, because I know that the sky is actually green and this is what you're stuck with. So you'd say, well, now you're blue sky biased because you're suppressing my green sky message, and therefore I am entitled to get my voice out. It's just, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I yeah, I know what you mean. But all I hope is that Google doesn't end up in a situation where they have to give more airtime to the idiots.
Yeah.
So not to say that all Republicans are idiot. Hi, Mikey. But
I feel like I've been more
since
than fair this episode.
what to Mikey in particular, or
Yes,
just in general? Nobody's here to defend the
I
Republicans,
know.
so you could easily claim that.
You can tell
um,
which stories I like the best, though. I think I've done more talking in the past 2 days than like the week leading up to that.
yeah,
Except for
we've
my
got to do it
solo
behind the
episode when you left me
scenes.
hanging.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, again. Um, we've got to do a behind the scenes episode one time where we show Mike has all these cool little charts where he posts on Discord behind the scenes. Not. Although maybe you should post it publicly. I don't know, but where he shows the comparison of how much we talk it compared to each other. I always apparently talk a lot more than everyone else, which I guess I knew anyway. But yeah,
Well,
yeah. Um,
we I don't know, maybe we could do something like that. I could show the whole array of computers and everything that
oh my
goes into
god,
the production of the show.
you, you,
Uh,
you
you
guys have to see this.
you and
Shut up,
John
Mike. I'm
just
talking.
show up.
Sorry, and then yeah, we do pretty much just show up.
Um, tomorrow
Okay.
will be our last show without John. Hopefully, then we'll have John back again 2 days from now. Fingers crossed.
We love you, John. Come
And
back.
what are we talking about tomorrow? Tomorrow we're talking about Apple's door lock that can be unlocked by tapping iPhone or Apple Watch. So
Oh
it'll be fun.
yes, yes,
You said
yeah.
you had some thoughts about this, so we'll
I
find out about
post
that tomorrow.
the lockpicking light. Let's talk about it tomorrow. Thanks. Like and subscribe. Join Discord. Bye.